Let me see our feed. There we go.
Awesome.
All right. Ready? Let's get it.
Let's get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to I am your host, Tyrone Bridges. Let's get it.
Testing. Welcome, everybody. I am your host, Tyrone Bridges, and welcome to I Thought You Knew. And we have a very, very special guest on our show today, this afternoon, this lovely afternoon. Our candidate for Washtenaw County Circuit Court Judge, Marla Richelew. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Tyrone. I'm very excited to be here.
All righty, great. Welcome to the show, and please tell us more about you and let the public know, of course, the office you are running for and, anything you want to know.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. So hi, I'm Marla Richelew. I am a local Washtenaw County attorney. I've been practicing here for 25 years. I'm running for Washtenaw County Circuit Court. I grew up mostly in Southfield, Lathrop Village, Cairo Bolden town.
All right.
Very excited for her. And then I went to college and I went to law school. I went to law school out of state.
Okay.
I came back and I started living in Ann Arbor, practicing here. First my family, because family is so important, right? I have two kids. There's Joshua, he's 17. He goes to Skyline.
All right.
And Naomi, she's 19. She goes to U of M. And my husband, Josh, he works for U of M Athletics.
Okay.
So we go to a lot of sporting events. And so I love being a lawyer. I just love it. I do civil rights mostly, employment, fair housing, public accommodation, education, every aspect of civil rights. I also practice in the business courts. When you do employment law, there's just so much overlay between those. But with the areas of law that I practice, I get to learn about so many different areas of law. I get to meet so many different people. I mean, there's employment everywhere. People need fair housing, education, which is one of my passions for children and helping out there. To make sure they get all the accommodations and they have all the accessibility to education. And so that's my business. I'm a small business owner. I have my own law firm, and I set my law firm up to be a little bit different than most. So I have very little overhead. I try to make sure that there's not too much there so that I can so I can do a lot of pro bono work. So for example, since September, I've helped over 1,000 people at reduced rates with unemployment matters, because we have a really horrible problem right now with people being asked to pay back money that if they have to pay back this money that they shouldn't have to pay back. I mean, it's just going to be so horrible for everyone, and it's going to cause so many problems for everyone, right? Because if we have that many people hurting, the society hurts. In my free time, I do a lot of pro bono work also. I'm in charge of the federal pro bono project for the Federal Bar Association for Eastern District. I'm Skyline PTSO president. I've been elected by my peers to be their voice to the State Bar Michigan Representative Assembly for Washtenaw County.
Okay.
But really, I'm just about helping people. I just want to make a difference. And that's something that leads me in pretty much everything I do. I'm one of those people that when I see something, I don't just say something, I do something. I'll give you an example. So recently I went to the vigil about Buffalo. right, at the Second Baptist Church.
Mhm.
And Pastor Daniels said something at the end, something that really just got into my heart. He said, "It's really great to see you all here, but we need to stop meeting in tragedy." And that really just made me think, how many times our community has had to do that. We did it with Tree of Life. We did it with George Floyd. We did it with Buffalo, and over and over and over again. And we need to stop doing that. We need to stop doing that, because what's happening is that, what does Maya Angelou say? That if you had people may not remember what you said or what you did, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And when we're meeting in tragedy over and over again, that's what we're remembering. So, I felt the need. I went back to church a couple weeks later, just to sit there, just to listen and be there when it wasn't for tragedy. But I also went back to the Jewish Federation. I'm on that board, and I'm one of the co-chairs of the Jewish Community Relations Committee. And I said, you know what? We need to do something. We need to reach out. We need to reconnect. COVID disconnected everyone.
Yes, it
in
did.
so many different ways. And so we've already sent out a whole bunch of letters to people. We've gotten some responses to just say, we need to start having the positive communications. We need to be meeting in joy. We need to be meeting in unity. So that's when I see something, I say it, I do something about it. That is what I'm known for. And I can give you tons of examples if you want. We can talk about that. But really, I like connecting people. I like hearing their story. And I really hate talking about myself.
Right. Well, Marla, just for just to let you know that we have a guest of yours that chimed in and would like to join in on the show,
Okay.
Fran.
Oh,
and I'm going to admit her in, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Here we go. And you introduce her.
Hold on. Fran, you there? Because you're muted still.
Well, go ahead and
Let's start
introduce
talking
her.
about her.
Go ahead and introduce her, and I'm pretty sure she'll unmute.
Hopefully. So this is my campaign manager, Fran. She is amazing and has been involved in so many different ways in Michigan. She's been very active in the unions. She has ran many campaigns like Megan Kavanaugh's, but she's just really been a force of good in Washtenaw County. And I'm really lucky to have her to be part of my team.
All right. Well, welcome in, Fran, if you could say anything.
Hi, may I call you Tyrone?
Oh, sure.
Hi, Tyrone. I know Marla's really excited about speaking to you today, and we are so grateful that you're giving us this opportunity. So we're looking forward to the upcoming interview. Also, please know that we're available always, and if you have any questions, you can always contact me.
All right.
And look
Wonderful.
forward to seeing you in the months ahead.
All right. Wonderful. Are you going to stay on, or are you going to just give a plug and then go ahead and let her continue with the interview?
I think she should continue with the interview, but if you don't mind, I'd like to observe. Is that?
No problem. Not a problem.
Okay.
Well, Marla, tell the public in your most humbling words, what makes you fit for this position that you're seeking?
Tall order, right? Talk about yourself, be humble, but explain to people why this is a good fit.
You sound very humble. I think you'll take this question very, very well.
I think it's because I never wanted to be a politician. I started off in the legislature. When I went to college, I went to MSU, and I worked in the legislature for 2 years with Representative Ilona Varga. She's now a Wayne County Commissioner. And I just learned so much. I left there wanting to work for Legislative Service Bureau, which is the people who legislators call up and say, okay, I want a bill that says this, and they make it happen. So I've never been like someone who had high ambitions, right? Like I just thought that'd be awesome to know that you're writing something that would affect so many people's lives. When I went to law school, I continued that way. I actually was able to intern for William Popkin, who is the author of the Dictionary of Statutory Interpretation, right? But with that education, I came back and I was dedicated to making sure everyone had a voice. Everyone was heard. You know, when you're a civil rights attorney, you're handling some people's tragedies, their traumas, things that have been happening that's horrible. And you have to be there and help lift them up. You need to make sure that they know that they matter. That even though their company is this big company and has lots of money, they matter just as much, and that the law is going to treat them as equal and equitable as possible.
That's
To be
humble.
their voice.
Mhm.
That's what I've been doing. I've been doing it for lawyers, for MAJ, for example, which is the Michigan Association for Justice, the trial lawyers, right? Those are the people who help those people who have been injured, you know, the criminal defense counsel, family lawyers, employment lawyers, civil rights attorneys. They've asked me to be their voice for 15 years to the Supreme Court on every issue that has to deal with civil rights, constitutional law, you know, employment. So we're talking LGBTQ rights. We're talking like Roosh World. We're talking unemployment rights. We're talking when the legislature went and took our right, you know, we wanted to be able to vote about fair wages, and they took it into the legislature and they decided to like basically repeal it. Those are the kind of cases I've been working on. And I've had the honor to be able to work in every court in Washtenaw County, from district court to circuit court to probate to business to federal court. I work in the Court of Appeals, I work in the Supreme Court, and with that kind of knowledge of how all those courts work together, I can bring that to Washtenaw County. I already sit on the State Bar of Michigan's Courts and Civil Procedure Committee. So I already have a voice there about how the direction of courts, one voice out of, you know, everyone. And then I have another voice on the Representative Assembly, where I represent Washtenaw County attorneys. So I really have been exposed to some of the best practices across the state. And we need those best practices here. We have great judges. I really like them. I really think that they have good hearts and they're trying everything they can. And I want to be part of helping them to achieve everything, because, you know, we need to make sure that our courts have every tool available for them. You know, one of the things I would love to do, and I'm sure you're hearing this from everyone. I hope you're hearing this from everyone who's running for judge. Problem solving courts. We need to get every single problem solving court at the circuit court level, at the district court level. Washtenaw County citizens, they need to have their voice heard. We need to stop making justice synonymous with punishment. We need to come up with restorative, rehabilitative options while still protecting people, right? There's got to always be protection of the public, but we have to start seeing people as people.
Right.
People
Like,
in court are heroes.
yeah.
That is the honest to God truth. Because you know, when you go and you start walking towards that court, you're going to feel your heart clench, because this is a big day for you. You know, it's deciding whether you were terminated wrongfully, if you're going to be able to see your kids. It's going to decide your future.
Okay. Well,
you, someone who is always going to see you and understand, you know, what has happened to people when they lose their job. You know, when they've been brought in and held without bond and have lost their job and can't get unemployment, which is actually, again, against in the Michigan Supreme Court right now. Can you get unemployment just because you get terminated because you end up having to spend the weekend, you know, in jail?
okay. All right. So you do a lot of civil law, a lot of corporate laws, I'm pretty sure, but is there any experience that you have within criminal cases and trying criminal cases in your practice?
So I have helped, and I have done some criminal cases. I once even got to go in after someone was convicted, go in front of the judge and say, you couldn't do that. I know they agreed to it. I know they plea bargained and admitted to everything, but if you look at the crime, what they said doesn't meet the elements. And I convinced the court to overturn the conviction even. I also help behind the scenes a lot. You have to remember with employment, especially when people lose their jobs, we end up sometimes, or sexual harassment, we end up also in the criminal courts, right? Sexual assault at the work. So then I'm representing the person in the sexual harassment claim. I'm working with the prosecutors. We all have to coordinate. So while I'm not trying that case, I'm supporting it in many different ways. And oftentimes, I get the discovery that they wish they could get, right?
Right.
So there's a lot there. Plus, for me, the criminal justice system, it doesn't end at the conviction and sentencing, because people are incarcerated. And that's something that I do a lot of, is because that's the federal pro bono project. For the most part, we're talking about people who are incarcerated, who have their civil rights violated while in prison, and they need help. And so I help train attorneys to help these people without charge, so that they can have their day in court, in federal court. I just actually was able to find an attorney for someone who was ready for trial, didn't have an attorney. The judge called me up and said, hey, I need you to work your magic and find someone to represent this person. And I was able to do that. Wrongful Imprisonment Compensation Act. I actually write the chapter for the Institute of Continuing Legal Education about this. So while my criminal background is not necessarily traditional, I'm still there. And I'm actually oftentimes working with the legislature too, to talk about helping them when they're coming up with issues. Like I was very involved in wiretapping recently. There's a case that's going up in front of the Michigan Supreme Court that I'm involved in as an amicus, where someone was tasered behind, while incarcerated. There's a video of it. And of course, MDOC doesn't want to go and give away the video, right? So we have to go and get pro bono counsel, and they're successful. They get the video, right? But then they say, well, because the attorney did it pro bono, they don't get attorney fees, even though the statute says they probably should get attorney fees. But that means that no one's going to take those cases ever, right? And it also gives an incentive, maybe to like the Michigan Department of Civil or Michigan Department of Corrections. Why work with that attorney if they know that there's nothing for them to gain, right? They can drag their feet.
Right.
So again, not traditional, but definitely involved.
All right. Well, that's a mouthful for sure. But the next question that I have for you, what type of reform programs will you be potentially working on, or what reform programs have you worked on in the past?
So I've been very excited to start to volunteer with like Road to Restoration. I just did a clinic recently in Ipsy. I'm trying to volunteer, and I have been volunteering for expungement clinics, because those are two great programs that we put into place that are really not being used as much as we need them to do it. There's all these people who can be helped. There's all these people who can get their driver's license back. There's all these people who can have their records expunged so that they can go and get jobs and progress and be successful without having this barrier that has stopped them, but we have to build trust. I think people aren't using them because the very people who, were in the courtroom, who were the ones that they thought were against them, are the ones pushing it. I love that the driver's license Road to Restoration was at a church, because I think that may hopefully make people feel more safe, right? We can't be doing it. We can do it at the courthouse. If people want to do it, please do. But I think judges really need to get out. I think we need and this is a little off of your question, I'll come back to it, I promise. But one of the things I really like to do is work with the schools. When we talk about restoration, when we talk about, rehabilitation, we have to be teaching that in our schools. I once was able to go and teach fifth graders law. And I mean, I was in there once for 1 hour, 2 times a week for the whole school year. So I was there literally teaching. And one of my favorite exercises was this equity exercise we did. I came up with this game. It's basically sort of, think of Monopoly, okay? So everyone starts off with the same amount of money. They start off with the same piece, same tools, but they get an envelope and they open up the envelope. And in the envelope, it tells them what they need to roll on the dice to be able to build their city. And they're not all equal, but they don't know this. And they're excited to play the game. And we start playing. And some people, as long as they don't get like double sixes, they always win. And then there's other people who only win and able to take their turn if they get doubles. Some people, if you get higher than 5, you lose your turn, right? And we keep going until someone says, this isn't fair. Not just once, like, this is not fair. And then we start talking about the difference between equality and equity. I think we need to do that more in our schools. I think we need to support our schools more. So I would like to have that as one of my outreach. It's a long-term project, but I think it's so important. And I'm talking about all the schools. This would be, and obviously it's going to be hard to hit every school, but I'm hoping that I can enlist other people to do it too. But in the courts, I think first and foremost, we need more mental health courts in Washtenaw County. I would like to have a juvenile one and an adult one. But again, I don't think we need all of them. So I think we need a plan to figure out how we do that all.
Right. We have to actually know who we're backing, as well as who and what their platform is about. Your platform seems as if that you do a lot of restorative things and supporting restorative ideas. We would like to know things that you, additional things that you could bring or would like to bring when you become circuit court judge, if you become circuit court judge.
So I guess I'm not understanding the question very well.
Well, what else? What other programs? I mean, you talk about your practice a lot, but we want to know more about what you have to bring, or what you have to bring to the table. A lot of people just, speaks about themselves. I know you don't like to speak about yourself, but that's a way for the public that are voting, the people who are voting for you, to get to know who you are. I know a lot of people think that they can get elected via name recognition, but the public really want to know who you are. A lot of times flyers don't vote, yard signs don't vote. So I try to bring people on the show just to give the public a personal one-on-one view with them, and see who they are and what they have to bring. So I'm just basically giving you a silver platter to go ahead and fill your smorgasbord up for the people who want to vote for you.
Awesome. Okay.
So go ahead.
I understand a little bit better there, because I had already
All
talked
right.
about trying to bring these problem-solving courts,
Mhm.
And do it in a way that the public knows how it's going to go. Like, I think that, and maybe that's exactly the answer to your question. I am about accessibility and transparency. Our Michigan Supreme Court Chief Justice Bridget McCormick has this great idea, and it's wonderful, and it's perfect for what she does at her level. She wants to bring in this system that we're going to be able to collect data from all the courts around Michigan.
Mhm.
So we can make some really good informed decisions. We can talk statistics, but we have some really not good statistics, especially when it comes to the criminal justice system in Washtenaw County, right? The system is great. It's needed because whether it's Washtenaw County, whether it's Wayne County, whether it's Grand Traverse or Kent or Jackson, we all need to be on the same page. But we can start that today in Washtenaw County. We don't need to wait for the pretty system. Okay, we can do that now because there's something that says that if people give you consent to collect the data, you can do that. So that's something I would do from day one. I want to go and start getting robust information to understand what's going on. One of the things I do bring is that I work also not just in the state court system, not just in the administrative law system, but I do also work in the federal court system. You know, the statistics there are bad. They're really bad. I mean, it's what, 12, 13% of the population is African-American, and still about 1/3 is part of the criminal justice system. But if we were at 33% in Washtenaw County of our criminal justice system being African-American, that's actually huge progress. So we can learn from these other systems. So one of the things I bring is that I have so many connections to people who want to help, who are willing to help every court system if people would just ask. So I am a bridge, right? I always tell people, you tell me what you need, and I'll tell you, you know, who I know and how I can connect you.
All righty. Well, just to dive in again and let you know that you have some supporters that jumped in or chimed in. We have Joshua Richelew. We'd like to admit him in if that's okay with you.
Oh, you know what? I'm not sure he means to be coming into the Zoom. I probably think he's trying to look.
Well, let's see. It's always good to have
Yeah, if he
supporters
wants to come
chime in.
I'm very happy to have him.
Joshua, are you there? He's got to unmute.
Yeah, Josh, are you there?
Yes.
Oh,
All righty. You want to introduce our additional guest here? I
will. This is my husband. Josh works for U of M Athletics, as you can see
All right.
from the little logo there. But
Welcome,
he also worked. He was a coach at Pioneer in Saline.
All right.
And he student taught in Saline. So he's just an amazing person.
All right. Welcome to the show, sir. I know you're at work, and we won't hold you long. We won't hold your wife long, and Fran. We're trying to get to know your wife and know who she is. I mean, I've heard of her, but you know, the public, they want to know who she is, and we would like to give them a full plate if possible. And you just helped us out. You came in, and we'd like to welcome you to the show, to stay on for a few. And I don't know if she wants you to speak a little or what. That's up to her, totally.
Oh, it's up to me?
Yeah, it's up to you.
I'm always happy to listen to other people, you know.
Okay, Josh.
One of the things that I'm hoping you and I can talk about, and I'm hoping I can stop talking about me so much, but I literally want to hear about your concerns and what you would like to see in the next court.
Really? Wonderful.
But yeah, whatever my husband wants to bring.
Well, I'll let him go first because, you know, I'm long-winded. A lot of people like to hear me talk sometimes, but I tend to be a little long-winded.
Well, Mr. Bridges, I just thank you for the opportunity of having my wife on and giving her an opportunity to meet the Washtenaw residents who may be listening to this broadcast and whatnot. I can just say something real quick about Marla. She's an amazing woman, cares deeply about the community and helping as many people as possible from as many different areas as possible. If there's an opportunity for her to help out, whether it's in regards to civil rights, to really anything that's going on, unemployment, whatever it might be, anything that is being faced by Washtenaw County, she probably has had her hand in helping try to find solutions, which I think is the most important thing in today's age. It's not it's giving people an opportunity to utilize resources, and Marla, through her contacts and experiences, really has a good handle, and really has a great network within Washtenaw County. And I think that's what's going to be beneficial to everybody here. And the other thing I guess I will say is she's very compassionate, empathetic, but at the end of the day, especially when you're running for judge or whatnot, it's about what the law is and being able to apply that with integrity, honesty, and with that compassion that I think is so very important to those people who are being affected at that very time. And I think that's what people need the most. But I think that's where I'll probably stop at that point. But I would also like to hear your concerns and what you feel is going to be important for this next circuit court judge in Washtenaw, and I'll listen at this point.
Okay, all right. I want to definitely thank you for your words and your comments. And Fran would like to say something as well. I'll let Fran say something, then I'll go next if that's all right with y'all.
I would love that.
Absolutely. And thank you. I'll be quick.
Take your
Josh,
time. This is our show.
Josh works for obviously the University of Michigan. And Marla can't tell you about this, but I would love to invite you to an event we're having this Thursday. It's at the Valley in Scioto Township. And Marla's there with a lot of her friends, but notably both the football coach and the soccer coach plan on attending. And so we're really excited because Chuck is going to be there and Jim Harbaugh is going to be there. So It should be a great time, and I hope you can join us.
All right. That's a wonderful invitation. And I love invitations to somebody's party and try to enjoy and get to meet some people and see why the energy is high for supporting your campaign as circuit court judge. And if you don't have anything else to say, I'll go ahead and actually plug in. And now you want to hear from me, it's okay. I love to hear from the candidate first before I get a chance to speak. Majority of the time I try to speak via passion. My passion speaks for itself. The balance on the judicial system is important. We need to have parents, we need to have people, ordinary people who don't think that they're too high and mighty by being on the bench, that they can't come down to the little people, the people in the community. I'm not saying break the law. You are basically the last decision of a person's life. And think about that. You're the last decision on a person's life when they go into the judicial system. So what you think and what the law allows has a great impact, not only on that person, but you and your family ability to be able to function after that sentence is handed down. And the sentence may not be just. The person might, just like you said, might need somebody like an attorney like you to fight for them. They might need that view, of course, they need a parent in there, need somebody who has compassion. We don't need judges that basically do what status quo do. I'll put it that way, because through this show, we have gained some powerful insights on how judges think and how prosecutors think and how law enforcement thinks. We understand that you can't speak against one another. But if you are a citizen, such as myself, and if you see the imbalance of support from one neighborhood to the next neighborhood in the opportunity at jobs for whites and not blacks, just like previously I spoke about the Orange Barrel Project, and here's my passion. You got all these Orange Barrel projects all throughout Washtenaw County, specifically with emphasis in the low income area. I'm not saying a judge, a county commissioner, a state representative, a state senator, a Ypsilanti council person, or a mayor have the power by themselves to do anything about what I spoke about. I spoke, if you're doing work in this community and the project is over $1 million project, please excuse my French, what the hell is wrong with the hiring process? I understand that you have to go through this channel and that channel, but think about it. You got that much money coming in that community. When you have an opportunity to do a unordinary change the page thing and give employment. Do you know if a low income person such as myself would work for that company for 6 weeks, that could probably be the spinning force that would bring me out of a spinning financial poverty situation. I'm 2 bills short of being homeless. Certifications, qualified CDL drivers. I mean, I have so many certifications, I'm done certified. Damn them certifications. And I guaranteed you people out there on that in that area feels the same way. When you got people, mainly white and mainly Hispanic, are working on those orange barrel projects in the low income area community. Politicians, judges, elected officials, state representatives, I've seen it done in the past. I've seen it done in the past where they actually made something out of nothing. That's been the thing, one thing that's been disturbing my peace, because it affects us low income people's minds when you see all of those workers coming from everywhere else. And we up here in the projects. We up here in the low income area. We got people holding signs talking about I will work for food. Instead of them saying I will work for food, come over here and pick up some of this stone. See, it's a land of have and the have-nots in Washtenaw County. But honest to God, politicians, y'all always come to our front doorstep or with flyers to ask us for your vote. We need out-of-the-box thinkers. I know judges can't make things happen, but your signature on a piece of paper will make the doggone sunshine when it's not sunny outside. So nobody that's in a position of authority, such as yourself, the last resource or the last stop before the person goes to the penitentiary, nobody can tell me that there's no room for out-of-the-box thinking in our county when we got people such as myself are suffering because they get looked over and looked under for employment. And no disrespect, y'all know I'm the chocolatest person on this screen. Y'all know that it's not enough us's in them orange barrel jobs. And it's a problem. All that money coming in the community and nobody's saying anything, that's a problem. I know it's not your platform to actually be able to do anything about it, but put that in your thought. You know, good as people can hold campaign parties and rub elbows and with politicians, politicians can make things happen. Y'all are the magicians. Y'all can't tell us y'all can't do things because y'all are asking us for something very precious. Our trust in you to do better for us than the last person. So in essence, we need you. We are humbly asking you for things that most out-of-the-box politicians won't offer that back in the community. And that's not just one. Imagine in the city of Ypsilanti with the population of African Americans and minorities, the LGBTQ community. Can you imagine if we was to turn the page back and had an Ypsilanti Boys and Girls Club open for us? for our youth. When they took the Girls and Boys Club down there off Park Street, then they took it from us and didn't bring anything back. The babies that's suffering will come through your courtroom. Their offspring will come through your courtroom. And the reason why we need you to understand the county that you're serving is because those people were coming through with a wounded soul. With a wounded soul. If you give a person an opportunity, that's all you could do. Give them an opportunity. It's worth a try, right? That's why they put people on probation and parole. We're going to give you a try to do better. But it's not a lot of politicians out here, and I'm sorry for such a long-winded rant, but I guaranteed you a very large population of Ypsilantianites in Washtenaw County and Ypsi Township could say the same thing. Why are the serious questions not being looked at? We can talk about the murder rate, we can talk about everything, but this is employment that's in our face.
That was powerful. I really appreciate you sharing that with me. I want to address some of that if I can.
Sure.
I don't want to cut you off.
You're not. You never cut me off. This is our fun platform.
Well, if I say I'm a listener, I better be listening. So, one thing first. We're supposed to be the justice of the peace. We're supposed to have equitable powers, and we need to exercise them. And yes, we have to follow the rules, and we have to follow the laws. But when we see those rules and laws are wrong, we need to get involved. Like I said, I'm on the State Bar of Michigan's Civil Procedure and Courts, which no one cares about the title. What it is it changes the court rules. We talk about the court rules. We suggest new court rules. We look at every statute that comes down that affects the courts. We can go to the legislature and testify and say, this is not okay. Like, we need changes. I'm willing to do that.
And I appreciate that. And I don't want to cut you off, but you did ask me my views and my points. It continues. When you have so many people fighting for criminal justice, prison reform, cleaning your record, expunging your record, this is a broader statement to everybody who is running for office and believe in God. I'm gonna get a little closer. If you believe in God, you in a position to help a person clean their life up, clean their record up. I got a 30-year-old felony on my record. And I'm saying I don't need help cleaning it up right now, because if it's not clean by now, it won't get clean. What I'm trying to explain to you is this. When you're doing the clinics, helping these young folk, these old folks get their records clean, I have a question. What good is it to help someone get their record clean if they don't get the proper assistance to maintain with status quo? How in the hell? And I'm angry about it. I'm happy that our records is being worked on and clean. But when the employment is not there, or the real resources is not there, what are the persons going to do that got their record clean? What would they do in 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025? What is the aftercare plan for those who have gotten their records clean? What is the aftercare plan? Because there need to be an aftercare plan. I see so many people benefited from the clean slate bill.
Right.
Okay. Pat on the back to the politicians. Pat on the back to everybody that's making this happen. But no one asking the hard question. What the hell do you do with a young 25-year-old man who had his record clean and he don't have any jobs? He has kids. He still got to support. See, what's going to happen, he's going to get caught up in that loop in the system again because you get locked up for not paying child support. See, he won't get locked up for not paying child support. He's getting locked up for being a poor ass daddy. That's not his fault. He's getting locked up because he can't find work. Everybody always talking about it's work out there for everybody. It's work out there for some people. Y'all need to quit lying to yourself. Y'all need to quit lying to yourself. And I'm not saying you guys, I'm not saying nobody on this podcast here. I'm talking about the politicians that's in the position that could do something. The county just got being blessed with a large amount of money. I'm angry even at the people that I support that they don't even think out of the box. They're out of the box thinking perfect, but you got to think beyond that. What's the next layer of support when you're cleaning people's records up? When you're helping people with COVID shots and helping people COVID this, COVID that? We all are mentally hurt with what's going on with COVID. Where is the second layer or the phase 2 of the support for the little guys? Where is the second layer of support for low-income families? Young Black men running around here without jobs, of course, just like my grandma said, God rest her soul, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. They don't have nothing to do. How many times in the last 20 years have you heard a politician say in Washtenaw County, Ypsilanti, the kids are bored, they don't have nothing to do? A lot of you politicians, I'm not trying to Bible bash, but the Bible says, y'all know what y'all supposed to be doing for them little ones beneath you, the poor ones. I'm paraphrasing. But y'all know what y'all supposed to do with them little ones. They are hurting out there in the streets. These young folk out here can't survive off DoorDash and McDonald's. I'm just throwing some things out there. I'm passionate because I love Ipsy. I'm a Bayer Hospital baby. If you don't know nothing about Bayer Hospital, you never should run again. Or if you don't know nothing about the south side of Ypsilanti, white townhouses and the success stories that came out the white townhouses in Ypsilanti. And the reason why I'm specifically speaking about that, those are the babies that you will see before your court once when you become judge. And all of those things that I spoke about with my long-winded self, God forgives me if nobody else forgives me. Those are the facts. I hear so many politicians saying they're throwing grant money here, grant money there, grant money here, grant money there. Y'all doing it wrong. In my opinion, y'all doing it wrong. Them fundings could be used as a safety net for those who you out there helping get clean. That's my soapbox speaking. That's all I have to say. I'm sorry I had to throw that in there, but that right there has hurt me for years, for many years. The politicians look at the same old problems and throw the same old things out there. And I look at you as a judge because you are up there with the highest ones. You are the one on the bench that make that decisions. Of course, you can go in your chambers and work with agencies. You could work with community folk. You could work with church folk. You could work with the prosecutor. You could work with the defense attorney. You can work with a lot of people. You have that magic once when you become judge. No judges, as far as I know, ever ran for public office like this, had a black man from the south side of Ypsilanti, a former felon, ever ask anybody a question that are running for judge, because most of them are too far up there that we can't touch. And people can't say, I want to mentor. I would love to be that judge. Or people, you're going to have young girls that are going to want to mimic you and mimic what you do. So of course, please don't ever, ever stop coming back in the community and letting the people know that, hey, I'm accessible. That's what we need. We need accessible judges, not the final say-so judges where they sentence you and that's it. You really have to know about that individual and where they came from. I think you will be a fair judge. I think you have some wonderful people, your campaign manager and your husband. But those are the questions that I feel, and plenty more, because I got a book that's going to help young folk, poor folk, and even crime to stop in our communities.
So much to unpack there. You know, I have been in a place where I wasn't sure where my next, like how I was going to pay my bills. I was a single mom under very stressful situations. So I have some understanding of real struggle, of fear, of wanting to do everything right by your family. I'm not sure if you can. I hear what you're saying about employment and the way my mind works. I'm thinking, like, if you're applying for jobs and you're not getting interviews, I want to know that. Let's go to the Michigan Department of Civil Rights. Let's have you file a claim for failure to hire. Let's have the next person file a claim for it. Let's make people act and investigate why it's not happening. That's out of the box, but that's how you do it. We come up with solutions. You tell me what's going on. I'm not promising you that I'm going to be able to solve everything, but I'm going to roll up my sleeves. I'm going to put my boots on. I'm going to hit the streets with you. I'm going to be there because that's what I do. That's who I am. And I will feel, you can see, I feel what you're saying. There's so much we can do. There's so much to do. It's easy to give up. And one of the things that hurt me most when you were talking was what you said pretty much almost at the beginning, that after 30 years, it's not going to happen to you.
Mm.
Please don't give up. I'm never going to give up on you. Please don't give up on yourself.
The reason why I have to visit that is because after you've been out of incarceration for after 30 years, that should be an automatic fall off. And when you still at the age of 52, still getting denied jobs, and they don't tell you the reason why, you already know the hell the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying, they might not be able to see it on paper, but they know I've been there. But the discrimination is still here.
It is, believe me.
But they would make up, what they would do, they would make up the thing that you were the second best candidate, knowing good and damn well that ain't nobody out there like you. I can share my story, but I don't want to make it about me. I just want to make it about other little Tyrones or other little brothers out there in the community that's probably having the same problems that I'm having.
Yes.
Those are the problems that's overlooked. And once again, if any one of you politicians or people who are running for office, if y'all are Bible reading people, them the little people that you really need to usher up. Because when they're in a position where they be able to sustain themselves and not have to worry about being homeless because they can't get a job, then those are the ones that's going to be the powerful pillars in this community that's going to help it grow. We have old politicians that's in office that really do need to hang it up, Because literally, if you're trying to make this a lifelong job and ain't nothing been better since the day you stepped in office, throw your hands up. Ain't no more babies' lives gonna be saved. Y'all not gonna save no more babies by perpetuating the same type of campaign. When you get in there, you have to be accountable. You have to be transparent. And as a judge, your word is all you got. Your word is all you got. And people are watching. You see, we talk about Zoom. We on Zoom all the time. We on Zoom now. Everybody should have a professional Zoom certificate before 2025. But I know we need a good judge, a great judge, a thinker, an out-of-the-box thinker. And I feel that listening to people and understanding, getting the pre-understanding is always good for the soul, because when you sit on that bench, then you will have that balance already embedded in you. Not to say that you don't, but hear stories like mine in the community. I urge you, hear stories like mine. It will bring you to tears, but actually it will give you the energy to know the people who you are serving as a judge. And then you don't have to actually look back at the end of the day after you made your decision. You can smile and you can go home with your kids and your husband. You can say, you know what, I did the right thing because I did it by the law and I did it from what I've learned. So it's important, so important we have balanced judges on the bench. And I know I'm long-winded. You did want to hear something from me, and I always like to wait till last, but I do want to give you this time to share with the public information about your campaign, how they can support you, and how they can get you over the finish line.
Thank you. Your words, when you're talking about this is what I love about running for office. I don't like the politics. I don't like a lot of the games and whatever, but meeting people, connecting with them, seeing their heart, it does inspire me. It is what brings me to want to do this. And I know that every single day, everyone who comes into that courtroom will feel heard. They may not like everything I say, but I want them to have a voice. Even as a young child, I promised myself that this is what I was going to do, not be a judge, but help people have a voice. And it is what drives me. I've been there when I've been wrongly accused. It wasn't for a crime, but it still made me cry at 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And no one would listen to me. And throughout my life, that's how I've empathized with people. I've always looked to see how we can make things better. I did it when I went to MSU. I saw people struggling. Some people had computers, some people didn't. I went to IBM, I went to Apple, and I said, will you donate some so that everyone has access? And, you know, as a 18-year-old, 19-year-old, I convinced them to donate 40 computers each. We created a computer lab so that everyone could have access, or at least there's more access. And in a big school, 80 is never going to be enough, but it's starting, it's that brick. And I hear what you're saying. What's happened so far is good, but it's not a magic wand. More needs to happen. We need a game plan. You know, I have to tell you, you know, I am on a board of a safety net organization, and we were all in panic mode a couple weeks ago because we thought we were all going to get, you know, defunded. Something was like going from $3 million that these organizations got to like 1.7 million, I think. Don't quote me on the numbers. And we were like, that's food. That's people being able to go to the doctor. That's their life. We can't do this. And we rallied. We were, you know, people were emailing and pressing. When we work together, we can move mountains. We need a plan. You're right. It's not enough. We need to make sure there's education for everyone. We need to know, we need everyone to have access. And if that means that every Sunday I'm going to church as the nice Jew I am, if that's where I need to go, I'm going to go. If it means, that I am driving to streets I've never been to, if it means that I am bringing food to people when I do it, I'm going to do it. I am accessible. I'm gonna give everyone my cell phone. I'm not sure that's a smart thing, and my campaign manager may be freaking out.
All right, that's okay. We got
But-
time. I'm not in no rush. Go ahead.
If you have questions, call me. My cell phone, 734-368-1209. Now, understand, I have a law practice and I'm on Zoom a lot, especially with unemployment, trying to help, like I said, over 1,000 people, trying not to have to pay back money, 20, 30
Right,
that they are entitled to,
right.
right? And we can fix the system. There's money to fix the system. Can you imagine that $20,000 or $30,000 that we were talking about people being a paycheck or 2 paychecks away from losing their house. Imagine if you had the state who can come in and take your 25% up to 50% of your wages. They can take your tax refund. So I am busy because I'm doing that. I'm not giving that up while I'm running because I got to help those people.
You're busy, but you're accessible.
But I'm accessible.
She has a voicemail, and I'm pretty sure if you was the caller, she will return your call.
I will. And you can learn more about me. You can see who's endorsing me. I have some amazing people who believe in me, and I am humbled and honored and so proud to have that kind of support. But you can go to marlaforjudge.org. You can learn about me. But one of the things I want to do, I don't know if you do this. You said that if you get elected, when you get elected, you need people to come back. I'll set a date today.
All right.
Win, lose, or draw, I'll come back, because here's the thing. I hope to be on the bench and be elected November 8th. I hope I deserve and earn everyone's vote. But either way, November 9th, I'm here for Washtenaw.
I love that. Now, see, she even pre-said it before I asked. She said she will come back. She will come back. I like that. I didn't even have to ask. I really appreciate y'all. Fran, if you possibly could you email me her contact information so I can copy and paste it to the interview? It's been a pleasure to meet you guys. My goodness, from not knowing you to knowing you after today, I think the public has a thorough view of who you are and why you are running, and how many lovely people that you have behind you and supporting you. Fran, Josh, thank y'all for coming on.
You guys.
Marla, it's been a pleasure, and thank you for coming on I Thought You Knew.
Thank you.
Hey, Tyrone, thank you. I just want one more thing to say. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. No need to say
I
sorry.
think having this conversation is a great start to get to know and an introduction, not only of Marla, but also of you and the things that you feel very important about and want to do. I think a second meeting is definitely, it doesn't, and I think it needs to continue because it doesn't just stop with one meeting. It's got to be several things to be able to address a lot of the things that you have mentioned today that are important to the community that you live in and within Washtenaw County. And I think it's important not just for us, but to continue talking and actually doing something.
I like
I mean,
that.
that's the thing. And I think whatever problem solving solutions that you might have, that some of your listeners may have, I think that's always going to be the power, because sometimes when people work at a certain level, they don't know what's happening on the ground. And when you have people creating solutions who are there, they know what's going to work and what's not going to work. And I think that's the importance of being able to meet and continue this conversation moving forward.
Great, thank you.
But I
And
thank
also,
you for your time and everything.
great. And Fran wanted to say something real quick.
I just want to say now, Tyrone, I think you have a good idea of why I think Marla will be such a great circuit court judge. She's got a terrific partner in Josh. I have sent you the invitation for Thursday, and I'm sending you now the contact information. Our campaign is always available to you. Thank you.
I appreciate it. And I will assure you after this interview here, I will send you guys a copy of my legacy of the things that I've done over the 30 years, even with this felony over my head. And through the grace of God, nothing will ever stop me but God calling me home with my mom and my dad. Y'all, thank you for this time. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This was, it makes me want to call you and say, okay, let's brainstorm now. Okay, you made all these things. I can't deal with them all in an hour, but let's make sure we start thinking about how we can do it. Because as an employment lawyer, if I'm on the bench, I know employment lawyers. And
Well, you just said, like I said, you just said a mouthful, because most politicians wouldn't even invite me. Or I know they say that you're not a politician. You're in the politics now. You're there. So they wouldn't even invite me over. They don't want to hear the truth. I don't know all, but I've been through a lot at 52. And y'all, once again, I thank y'all for this interview, and y'all will be hearing from me more about our second conversation. And I look forward to bringing you back on the show after the election.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
God bless.
Peace.